We'll recap Sunday first. I felt after the game, and the film certainly indicated that. I thought we did a lot of really good things. Unfortunately, sometimes, every once in a while, the game doesn't necessarily honor, how you play. It's kind of part of life and part of ball. But I thought our guys played really hard. I thought we were great on the glass. I thought our defense was plenty good enough to win. We had a couple spells there. Where Demps went on a run, where he messed up a couple things there. But I thought, all in all, we did some really good things. Took a step in the right direction. I thought we moved the ball pretty well. Obviously late in the game, we've got to take care of the ball a little bit better. We showed the guys some of those clips yesterday, but definitely see players getting better, individuals, which is encouraging, and I thought our team did some really good things. So obviously this is a quick turnaround. With yesterday we went late in the afternoon and tried to really recap Sunday so we could learn from that, start our preparation on Rutgers. Did not do a whole lot physically yesterday. We'll do a little bit more today, but it's that time of year, February, where you're trying to keep them mentally and physically fresh and make sure they got an edge to them mentally, and that their bodies and minds are both desiring to play. So that's really our goal today. We'll finish up our mental prep and then have Rutgers tomorrow. Obviously the first game was a classic. Watching that, I've watched it now 2 different times or 2 different ways, through the eyes of the defense, the offense, and then in flow. And we made a lot of plays. We were very resilient. Obviously, Finke was out. We weren't sure about Nunn at the time leading into the tip-off. I wouldn't say we played real well. We played much better, quite honestly, on Sunday in terms of evaluating based on our standards than we did when we won at Rutgers. But we did make plays. I did think we showed some resiliency and made some big plays in that game, and we're fortunate to come on top. So, obviously they had several players get career highs in that game, whether it's Laurent, whether it's Sanders. Mike Williams was really efficient, 15 points on 11 shots. I thought they were great on the backboard. We didn't take a whole lot away defensively in that game. I thought we made plays when we needed to. So, we got to be better defensively than we were in game 1. Questions?
Malcolm played some point for you last game. How do you evaluate that?
I thought he did a good job. Did some good things. Obviously he had played it some on certain possessions between Springfield and the other day, but that was the most he had played it since Springfield. Late in the game, got to make a few better decisions when you're out there. You're running the point. He and I together collectively are in charge of making sure we have quality possessions. I reminded him of that yesterday. And but that'll come. Obviously we've talked in great length and detail about how much we've put on his plate. But I thought he did some really good things the other day. Rebounded well, had 8 assists, made guys better. Thought he defended pretty well, played with a good energy about him. I liked what I saw. We got to build on it. That role's not perfected yet. In other words, we still got some things we've got to, work to improve upon. But I liked what I saw.
Did you need the bye week to implement that, to feel comfortable?
Yes, on the latter part of your question there, Jeremy, the bye week helped us certainly in preparation for that. I just thought for us, and I knew we were going to a game where we were going to see a lot of zone, a lot of matchup, and always trying to be solutions based. I never make decisions like that on a personal nature. It's always about what's best for our team. I thought it might be something worth looking at, and he played it last week, and I thought did a pretty good job. And we'll continue to take a look at any and all avenues. All 3 of them obviously got to be ready to make our team better and to play better. Did we play well enough the other day to consider it moving forward? No question. I thought we did some good things. We just didn't win, but we played pretty well. So, we'll take a look at it here moving forward for sure. It's definitely an option.
Do you anticipate that if he's playing more at the point, that the trade-off is going to be less scoring from him?
I don't know that yet, Tup. That's a great question. The other day took 8 shots. I thought they were pretty good ones. I don't know. And the trade-off, obviously I've got to evaluate that because the trade-off is getting the team to play better. If that means, 15 shots or 8 shots, we got to do what's best for the team and help our team play better. The other day I thought was a step in the right direction. I thought in terms of a consistency standpoint with effort and rebounding and execution and working to get good shots, I thought we were really good for the bulk of that game from a consistency standpoint, which is kind of what we've all been talking about. So I thought that was good. So, again, like I said with Jeremy, it's certainly an option moving forward. What is that going to mean? I don't know in terms of shot attempts and scoring top. I think it's, he's got to play the right way. I know that sounds simple, but obviously he comes off a pick and roll. They double him. He needs to pass. He comes off the pick and roll, and there's not a second guy committing to him, then he needs to attack. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's got to play. He's got to read situations, and I thought the other day he read situations pretty well.
I think his numbers aren't as good as they were preseason. How much of that is injury? How much of that is the Big Ten scout?
Great question. I don't know the answer to that, Jeremy. Maybe a little bit of both. What percentage it lies one way or the other, I don't know. I think when you're a freshman going through it for the first time, even though Michael's a redshirt freshman, and obviously we have 3 other guys doing that, the season's a little bit longer than the last time you played a full season with games. So there is an adjustment period there. That's part of the reason why we're practicing the way that we are, in addition to the fact we've had, some injuries and guys with some hurts that are playing. Then we've had some guys who have played heavy minutes, and so that we've tried to balance all that. But I do think it's hard when you're going through it for the first time. 35 plus scouting reports, a longer season, more practices. Then you factor in Europe. 4 games over there. Like, yeah, you have to certainly factor all those things in. I don't know. I do know that the other day I thought he was great on the offensive glass with his effort. I think he's doing some good things. Did the, injuries slow him down a bit? Certainly. To what percentage is, I don't know that, I know those are all factors and variables.
Defensively on Saturday, held Brian McIntosh, well under his average, and at times had bigger guards on him because of Lewis and Tate not on the floor, and it was Aaron or Malcolm. Is that something you can do maybe against Sanders?
Well, I mean, obviously we're going to need all those guys. Sanders is not quite as tall as McIntosh, but brings other things to the table and dilemmas. He's quick, he's fast, he's explosive, he lives in the lane. Obviously we had no answer for him in game 1. I mean, he was terrific with 39 points and 12 assists and did it on 33 shots. So, it's certainly a possibility. There were times of the day we had some bigger lineups out there, Scott, like you're saying. I thought that was, those lineups did a good job. At the end of the day, we defended pretty well and controlled what we could control Sunday, other than just a burst there by Demps, who's a really good offensive player, but we made just a couple – errors there that are you can't make, and that helped him get going. And then once a guy gets going, at that point the basket starts looking like you're throwing a rock in an ocean, and he with 4 straight threes there, I really thought that was the difference in the game right during that run right there.
You guys have played one heck of a list of point guards. Where does Sanders stack up in terms of tough matchup for you?
Yeah, talent-wise, he's really talented. We knew that going into game 1. Derek, he's, he can get in the lane. He can shoot the ball. He can score in the mid-range. He can finish. He gets to the free throw line. Obviously had 12 assists. He's their leading assist guy, so he can make guys better. I think what makes him tough to guard, though, is he's just so explosive. I mean, it's easier said than done to try to keep him in front. I mean, he's explosive.
Continues to play well, and even though he wasn't necessarily counted upon as being an integral part of the team to give you a lot of minutes in the face of what you've dealt with, he has had to do that. So he's pretty much making the best of a good situation.
He is, yeah. He's really improved. He continues to get better. Fletch has done a great job with his body, which is hard to do in season, but Mav's changed his body a little bit in season. I'm anxious to see what he can do with them out of the season. Outside the season, I think that'll be exciting. And then Dustin's done a good job with him, in terms of development stuff with film and skill and talking to him and mentoring him. And then obviously give Mav credit. He's responded to all that and taken all that in, and he's learned and he's gotten better and he's improved. And I mean, he's doing a great job for us really at both ends, because he's very smart defensively. And then offensively, he's finishing 2-point field goals really well. His rebounding's getting better. And I think he's playing with a lot more confidence. He's more assertive. I think all those things are great.
John, given everything you've been through this season, obviously wins have been tough to get, but is that individual development making it a little easier for you to kind of take this in?
Well, I don't know if it's been easier. No, it's been challenging. That's a great question. Yeah, from the standpoint, I think, one of the greatest, feelings or emotion that anyone can have, Jeremy, is hope. And you watch, like, the development of DJ Williams. I see what Aaron Jordan's doing in practice. You see how J. Cole's improving. You see how Maverick's improving. You see what Finke has done throughout the year. I think all those things certainly are very, very encouraging. At the same time, you got to balance that with living in the present, too. We got a game tomorrow, and, we've got to go out and try to piggyback and play well like we did on Sunday. I thought we played well. Played well enough to win, just didn't on the scoreboard, unfortunately. But we want to play well again tomorrow. I want to go out and play well tomorrow. Move the ball, execute, play hard defensively, rebound the ball, block out. We did a lot of those things really, really well. So we got to continue to build on that.
The last 9 games have followed kind of a terrible pattern. Win, 2 losses, repeat it twice again. Is the team affected by that at all? I mean, mood, emotions, anything like that?
Well, it depends. I mean, meaning they've got to decide whether, I use the analogy with them all the time, and I've told you guys before which dog you're going to feed, the negative dog or the positive dog. That's a choice they make every day when they get up, Scott. I can't make it for them. They know where I stand. They come into practice and they see how eager and excited we are to work with them, and that every preparation for every game and practice is, important, and every day matters, and we work at it, and we work hard, and we're about growth and improvement, and so they know where we stand. And I think a prime example of a guy who's really started to figure some of that out is DJ. DJ's a guy now that's playing with more energy consistently, and when he does that, he made a couple mistakes the other day, but the energy that he's been playing with, the way he's been approaching every day, I think is what giving him a chance to get better and stand out a little bit. So, it's really just a choice. You got to make it. You got to make that choice. It doesn't do us any good to think about, what happened 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4. We can't control that. Got to worry about what's in front of us and control what we can control and work to get better and improve.
Are they feeding the right dogs then? I mean, you see the right
I think a lot of them are, yeah, for sure. Energy level's been good. Thought we practiced well last week. It's a big reason why we played well, But yeah, I do think it's challenging, though. I think it's challenging for them. Obviously everybody wants to win and wants to be rewarded with outcomes. Certainly the society that we live in would say that. And sometimes, in my opinion, that gets, a little bit over-dramatized because you can fall for that trap I've told you before where, winning or losing, for that matter, can be a deodorant that sometimes hides what stinks. And for us, I'm trying right now to get them to understand, here's what we want to get done. That's what we're showing them through video. That's what we're emphasizing in practice. Did we or did we not get it done? With some consistency. The other day we did. Does that mean anything tomorrow? It means that they've shown that they can do it. Now, at the end of the day, tomorrow's game's different. You can't just show up and play and expect you're just going to automatically play with the same energy level, same rebounding, same everything we did on Sunday. And I'm hoping that they've learned that you've got to make a mental choice to have your mind and your heart in the right place to compete like they did on Sunday.
I guess you
Saturday. Yeah, keep losing track of days.
You brought DJ a couple times. He played a season-high 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Western. Does he get more, or is that maybe the amount?
We'll see. Each game's different. He's going to play what he earns. Right now, he's earned that. I mean, he played well the other day. He had a couple turns, there, but he's working really hard. He's getting better. I think that's, like I said, that's encouraging. Mav getting better. The freshmen are getting better. I just think guys are really improving right now, and finally you're starting to see some of it, and they're starting to get some confidence from it, I think, which is good. And, now we got to continue to build from there.
John, are we past the point of seeing LeRon again this year?
We'll see. I'm going to, obviously it's getting late in the game, and, here pretty soon, the docs and Paul and I will sit down and decide, because you're right, it's getting late, and it starts to make sense for us to figure out, hey, is this even, for us to even consider him out indefinitely, at this point. But we have not officially made that decision yet, so I can't say that we have. We got to sit down with all parties, but, obviously, he's out, and, I do think, the trainers and doctors have done a good job. I do think he's getting a little bit healthier, and he's able to move around a little bit, but, he's not 100% yet. So, pretty soon, you're right. It's late in the game, and we've got to make a decision that's best for him.
Thorne played the second half of the season. Is the window more open for him?
Yeah, probably. But at the same time, too, my biggest concern with him right now is his health, obviously. He had, he's had setbacks. He's had, it's been hard for him with that knee. So the main thing for us with him is we want to do what's right for him medically and health-wise for his body. So again, we'll sit down and sit down with everybody, all parties involved, and figure out kind of what direction we're going here. Because Brett's right, it's getting late. I mean, it's February 15th. We've got to move.
Everything that's happened at the U of I in terms of injuries and the lawsuits and everything else affected the training staff or you guys in terms of bringing guys back. Would you have brought a guy back sooner, maybe in the past, or have lessons been learned in terms of like a holistic approach of?
No, we haven't done anything different than I've done at any time in my career, to be honest with you. Their health is paramount. That's the first thing. We're not going to play a guy who's injured. Now, guys got to learn at this level, to play hurt sometimes. Maybe a guy turns an ankle and it's a little swollen or whatever. We want to have a culture where we have some toughness. But when a guy's injured, and his long-term health is affected, we've never the place I was at before or this one played with that. That really hasn't changed. That's been the same.
John, I know we're anxious to hear about the new athletic director. I know you're in your bubble, but are you anxious to get that and meet that person?
Sure, just to move on. Obviously, no question. We're excited. Obviously, once that decision gets made and that takes place, then we'll know more. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think one of the things that I've always believed in is that leadership's important, regardless of business, organization, teams, families. I'm a big believer in that, and so we look forward to bringing that to culmination and moving forward. That's the biggest thing.
Anything else in here? We don't have a phone line today, so anything else in the room?
Phone lines.
We don't have that. We don't.
Oh, nothing. You got nothing today. No KB and no phone lines. Okay. No coat rack, too. Tup was disappointed. It's winter. There's no coat rack for him to put his coat on, Huh? All right, guys. Thanks.